How are you all doing today? This is another daily market analysis and technical review. All right, so we're just going to take a look at what is happening in the market, just based on what we discussed during the weekend. Okay, the weekly markets overview. So we discuss a few pairs that might worth looking into this week. All right, and the first part is NZD dollar. Before we actually jump into NZD dollar, I want us to take a look at the dollar itself. Okay, let's take a look at the dollar first off. And yes, this is where we still are on the dollar. Let's actually go to the 12-hour time frame real quickly, because I like to start on a bigger view so we can scale it down slowly. All right, so right here on the dollar, you can see that we are getting some traction right around this particular region right here. All right, around that 98 region, 98.40. Okay, we're getting a traction right there. Okay, there is a demand zone here, and the market seems to be reacting to that particular demand zone. Now, does this make a very big sense? Like, is this going to transition into a potential bullish buyers, like saying the dollar, when I said the dollar, I'm talking about DXY, right? Okay, is it going to transpire into something probably scary that's going to look like this? I don't think so for now. All right, because I have to talk about fundamental some way somehow. The beginning of that fundamental is, you can see right here on the dollar. Dollar is losing some point. The same thing as pound. The same thing as euro, right? And Aussie also lose some point on the economic front. However, on the chart, on the currency front, okay, when we still combine the same data and we're focusing on the currency right now, we're looking at, they all still drop some point. The only currency that is quite strong right now is the CAD, and that is riding at the back of the labor data that came out on Friday. Okay, so let's take a look at US economic heat map in like 30 seconds. All right, so today is the 8th of December. There's no actual new data that was released. So we're still stuck at this 50% strength in the dollar. And economically, we're still literally hovering around 65, 67%, so to speak. So in my personal opinion, nothing has really changed on the dollar. And also, let's take a peek at the fundamentals and the economic data coming this week. The major thing that is coming this week fundamentally, literally, is the 25 basis point rate cut that the Fed has finally agreed to. This is going to piss Donald Trump off for sure, because he wants a bigger cut. But Paul is definitely not going to budge. So it's right there. Okay, I still don't know what to make out of that yet, because everything doesn't look good right now. Okay, fundamentally, we are getting a better reading on the dollar economically, but it is still not transforming or transcending into the chart yet, and that is quite scary to me. But at the end of the day, focusing on the charts as we have been in the last couple of weeks now, or let's say a month or two, I would say that a break above this particular region right here, yeah, maybe you might want to, short euro dollar and the likes, Kiwi dollar as well. But a further drop below this 98.40 region, this demand zone right here, that means pound dollar, Kiwi dollar, and euro dollar would probably fly to the upside more. If my own bias kind of makes sense to you, okay, or what I think kind of makes sense to you, or you want to know, I would say just anticipate for a further decline on the dollar, something like this. Okay, something like this. All right, another leg all the way to this particular region before we can get an actual push, probably to this region right here. Then a more drop to the downside on the dollar. All right. Yesterday I showed you what it looks like on the weekly band, what dollar looks like on the weekly band, and this is how it looks. It's not looking very good. Okay, the bearishness is strong, it's steady, and it's crazy. And I said this is what Donald Trump brought to the market. That's part of his agenda, though. He wants a weaker dollar, a smaller interest rate, so that the US debt can actually be a chunk load of it can be offloaded. You understand what I'm saying? So, maybe by the time Trump will finish his tenure, all right, or he's under administration, maybe we're gonna get dollar back to 88.65 region right down here. It's possible, or maybe even further to the downside. Okay, but let's not go crazy right now. So I said I'm not gonna spend too much time talking about all of this, so I think I'm done. But fundamentally, I would say that just anticipate for more bearish move on the dollar, considering the fact that provided that, okay, dollar failed to break above this particular region right here, this one. Okay, it failed to break above it. Failure to break above it, then we have a chance for this. Okay, this move to the downside. If we break above it, then we might have something else coming. So watch out very closely. Back to NZD dollar. Okay, NZD dollar is actually looking good in my opinion. But again, we have this divergence. It's still very much there. Where is my RSI? Yeah, the divergence is still pretty much there. And I really love what I see. But you know me, I'm not just going to jump into this short right away. I need some conferences to actually play out. I need to see break and retest of structure. I want to see a market shift, a complete market shift on the 4-hour time frame, something that looks like this. All right, if I get this, then I will probably take this short sell all the way down here. Then we look for that buy that we've been waiting for on the dollar, on Kiwi dollar. So watch out. All right, fundamentally, again, I don't see the Kiwi dollar as a strong currency. I don't think so. I'm going to show that to you later when it actually loads up. But for me, Kiwi doesn't really look super. So it doesn't scream strength. All right, in my opinion, it doesn't really doesn't scream strength. All right. But right here we have 67%, CAD is 33%. I mean, that is questionable, right? And we have Aussie at 86%. Aussie actually screams strength. All right. But Kiwi is a very slow guy. So I'm expecting a drop. I'm expecting that pullback. So we can all join that buy opportunity. All right. So just watch out very closely on Kiwi. We might get that pullback or not. However, watch out very closely. Pound dollar, on the other hand, I'm still waiting for that drop as well. All right, I would really love to take the short trade. Okay, considering what we have right here, let me make that make sense a little bit. Demand, yes. So, I mean, considering what we've seen in the last couple of days since, I think last week Wednesday, right? Yeah, last week Wednesday. I mean, we've seen a very weird momentum right here. However, you know, pound dollar can take the whole of this as an actual pullback and then fly all the way to the upside. So you might not want to sleep on these as well. Okay, on the let's take it to the 1 hour time frame. Maybe we can actually plan something on the dollar. Yeah, you can see we have an internal structure right there, a bearish internal structure on pound USD. All right, I mean it's really much there. It actually looks like a sort of it looks like a sort of a triangle pattern. It's not a symmetrical triangle, but it looks like a descending triangle. And we know the plan when it comes to descending triangle. We know it moves like this. There will be a sweep, and then the market will break out, pull back, and then it fly to the upside. Okay, if you are a big fan of chart pattern, you will know that there's definitely going to be a sweep at the bottom. Then the market will just take, to do leg over kind of move. So this might be something you want to look into on pound dollar. All right, moving forward, something like this: a sweep, a breakout, then pull back, then you take your buy right here all the way to the upside. However, if this is not the case and the market actually fall deeper into this zone, then you might wait for pullback. All right, back to this zone, then you can short it to the downside. However, this short has to be corroborated with what DXY is doing. All right, if you're going to be shorting pound dollar, you want to see DXY actually break above that region that we said it has to break above. All right, if that happens, then you can wait for a short on pound dollar while you look at DXY actually going up. Okay, so you have to make sure you know how to cascade yourself around the time frame, around multiple assets, so you don't make mistakes or buy into some very weird transition in the market. USDCHF, I told you I'm gonna be shorting, but I didn't take that short. I mean, it's dollar Swede is crazy. As you can see, dollar also kind of makes some very tricky move to the upside this week. I mean today. So I'm still very bearish on this one. I would love to short it. Okay. I mean it's going back to return the supply zone and I love it. I genuinely love it. So right there, I'll be selling this guy. But then we need to see the weakness on the what? On the dollar. The weakness has to be there. Dollar Switch is now like it's taking over from Kiwi dollar. Kiwi dollar used to be my top setup. Okay, the top setup, but I think this one right now, Dollar Switch is really taking control of that. And you can see right here on the moving on RSI is also leaning. I mean, it's tilting towards the overbought. So that is also another good confluence. So what I'll be waiting for right here is an actual move that kind of dwell inside this demand, this supply zone right here. And I will be looking for some divergence, okay, and I will be taking a short trade on Dollar Swiss moving forward. Okay, Dollar Swiss likes to do divergence. He's a very big fan of divergence. Okay, you can see divergence, divergence, divergence right here. Okay, there's no divergence here, nothing like that. Do we have any divergence here? Nothing like that right here. So we have divergence here. If you take this buy, good. If you take the short, good. If you take the short, good. And I will be looking for divergence here also on Dollar Swiss. So it's a big guy when it comes to divergence. So I'll be looking for divergence and I'll be shorting it. As you can see up here also we have slight divergence here. I'm not sure this is a very good divergence that is tradable. I'm not sure. This is not a good divergence. But overall, dollar Swiss short. Okay, short. Look into that. Now, dollar yen. Dollar yen broke out of where I don't want it to break out of. All right. Dollar yen did do the crazy stuff. All right. But again, for sure, I wouldn't mind buying, but I would not be buying. I really don't want to buy dollar yen. Okay. I don't feel comfortable buying dollar yen, honestly, because I still don't believe in the dollar strength right now. So I will probably sit this one out, to be honest. But for now, let's focus on gold. Don't forget, yeah, yesterday we discussed gold, and I told you that gold right inside this box is already looking spooky to me. I told you that on the 4 hour time frame, I would not be taking this trade at all. I would not be interested. I'm definitely not going to be touching it. Okay. However, on my 5 minute time frame, for sure, I will be shorting. I will be trading it right there. Okay. So earlier this morning, very early, I was actually up early this morning, and when I got into the market, I mean, gold was right here, just retesting this particular zone right here. I took my first shot, and the market just took me up. As a matter of fact, my original stop loss was above here. Okay, so the moment I see this moving average crossover, because this strategy is heavily dependent on moving average crossover and few other things, demand and supply, Fibonacci, uh, RSI, a lot is built into a trend line. A lot is built into this strategy. Just so we're clear. However, when I saw this crossover, this kind of changed the game for me. So I kind of like automatically or manually closed the trade around here. Okay, so I just took the loss. I don't have problem cutting the loss. That's exactly what I'm trying to say in a whole lot of words. Okay, so the second thing is later, when the London market opened, I get another crossover. The market was just dancing right here, and then we got a break below this particular structure, right? Which was actually a false break, by the way. This was the one that took me in. Once we get the close on 5 minute time frame, I just took the short, and my stop loss was back at where this one was actually in the first place. So this one I lose like minus 0.5%, not really my full 1% loss, okay, something like that. But this, I took the trade and it gave me a decent 1.79%. So far so good. This was still a very good trade. Okay, I short it was here. Then when the market was pulling back heavy, I just caught it right around there. I was able to close around, I think, 250 pips profit. Okay, 250 pips. I think I lost around 65 pips right here. So plus or minus, I was able to close like 180 pips, or let's say 190 pips. Okay, so that is the whole show on gold today. I only pick two positions. I mean, I only open two trades on gold. So back to the swing plan. So back to gold right here. You can see gold is still right here, hovering inside this range, and that should be like 4225 and 4160, right between this range right here. No, 1680, excuse me. I mean 4180 and 4225. So this is a particular zone, or let's say this is the range that what's it called again? Gold is actually hovering around, and that is very scary because it's pretty decent. This is around 325 pips plus or minus. Okay, plus 325 pips range. So it's better I take it on the 5 minute time frame, and that's why I've been taking the trade on the 5 minute time frame, right? However, swing plan, I don't know, maybe a buy here, but it's questionable. I'm not sure I'll be comfortable buying inside this range. Okay, what I will probably wait for is a break below here, a pullback, then I'll probably short back to 4100 or even lower to 4000. Okay, so that is possible. Or I'm just gonna wait for a clear break above 44 to 125, and then I'm just gonna buy, and we're gonna target 5,000, so to speak. We're gonna just ride this to 2026, so to speak. So that is just my thought process on gold right now. Okay, it's still quite skirmish. I mean, it's still quite weird, but that is where I'm at right now on gold. So watch out, guys. I will see you tomorrow.